I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Councilman Camilleri? Here. Councilman Conti?
Here.
Councilman Halco?
Here.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Here.
Council President Samuka?
Here. Please rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members on July 31st, 2014, and to all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 251, Public Law 1975. Before we open the meeting to the public, we have a presentation of our winning Little League team. So congratulations, and the mayor will speak and introduce all the players and coaches and moms and dads.
Well, we have some more new first place winners in Saddlebrook. We're always so proud of our children. And our youngsters here this evening are here to get a certificate and be recognized, along with their coaches and their parents, for coming in first in the minor league division of champs. We're so proud of you. So I'd like to call up the manager, Ron Ponzi, if he's here, and the coaches, George Kahadaway and Todd Straminsky. Please. Thank you. I'd like you to explain to the public, I heard some information outside. I heard that our guys played in Paramus and they didn't lose one game. That's another league. So please continue from here.
Yeah, two of our players, Nick Kawadi, my son, Nick Kawadi, and on behalf of coach manager Ron Posey.
Anyone on the team, come on forward. Gentlemen, this is your time to smile into the TV camera.
I guess I'm stuck standing there with the kids. Okay. This is Odom, Nick Kawadi, Carlos Luis, and Dylan Mateus showed up. They won 2 months ago, division, 14-0. These two guys were on it, and they won the Paramus Summer League. Undefeated. Needless to say, we had a great season. Thank you for showing up, and that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you. Stay in place. Help me out here. We have certificates for the boys, and I'll call off the names, or if you'd like to.
Tommy Montalbano. Lucas Straminsky. Dylan Mateus.
Congratulations. Once again.
Nick Kawadi. Paul Figueroa.
Our children have such busy schedules, and it is the month of
Makai Odom.
that many of the team members couldn't be here this evening, unfortunately. We can't catch up with the kids because I can't catch up with my grandchildren.
Dev Patel.
We have great representation here by 4 handsome young men, and I have 4 handsome young granddaughters their age.
Connor Haverson. Tyler Posey. Franklin Rodriguez. Carlos Luis.
Manager.
This is manager Ron Posey. Coach George Gawadi. Todd Straminsky, coach.
And I believe, I was also given the information that there may have been 2 very special parents who contributed a lot. So therefore, their just as deserving as everyone else that received a certificate here this night. And I'd like to thank you on behalf of Saddlebrook for doing this.
Heather Mateus, thank you very much.
Come on forward, Heather, please. Takes a lot to be a parent today.
And Dennis Montalbano. Without your help, this team would have never done what they have done. Thank you very much. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Would the parents like to step up, please? The parents of our boys here, or brothers and sisters, family. Let's get by your family, because we're proud of who we are in town here, and the public has the opportunity to see everyone and connect everyone. And we will take time out if you'd like to take some separate family photos or photos with the coach and the proclamation. Now, I'm proud, and the council is proud as well. Here are families. They take the time to make sure that their children get involved. And you know what? I think that's so important, because we have a 10 o'clock curfew in Saddlebrook. And at least I know I can rely on you parents who are parenting so that we don't have any problems out there as we've had in the past. So for that, we're forever grateful, because we know you're leading them on the right path. Now, Mateo, I'd like you to start off and tell the people out here and look into the camera with that gorgeous smile what you liked best about being in it, or just say whatever you want to say, please.
I like being in it because lots of my friends are on it, and we had and lots of my friends were on it, and I had a great season, and they're nice and supporting.
Say hi. Wait, I want to go. Hi.
I'm Nick Kawadi, and I like to play baseball because I think it's fun, and it's fun to be on a team, and my teammates are really nice, and it's just fun to play.
My name is Carlos Luis, and I like baseball because I like having fun and being active a lot, and I just like making friends on the team and playing for fun.
My name is Dylan, and what I mostly enjoyed about this season is playing with all my friends, and it was really fun. We were a pretty good team, and we won the championship. Thanks a lot, everyone. Okay, I'm done.
You speak.
One last thing, if I could say. I'd just like to thank Bobby Kugler and his family for sponsoring our team. Thank you.
Bye.
And so closes our awards for tonight from a beautiful young lady. Thank you. God bless you all. Keep up the good work, all of you young children. We're proud of every one of you. It isn't always about winning. It's about the friendships, as these boys stated.
Oh.
We could adjourn the meeting for 2 minutes in case anyone wants to leave. They can, or you can stay. We'll go back on the record. Is there a motion to open the meeting to the public? Mr. Conti with a motion, second by Mr. Camilleri. All in favor? Any opposed? Meeting is now open to the public. Anyone wish to address the council, please come forward. Right to the podium, ma'am.
Hello. My name is Stacy Berardo. I am a parent of several girls on the Saddlebrook Spirit Leaders, the cheerleaders. And we've been made aware that our practice site for many years has been Long School. And I guess over the last couple of weeks, that site now is unavailable to us, and we're having some trouble trying to relocate to another facility in town, another school or building. It needs to be indoors somewhere we can store our mats. I know that the commissioners have approached several people and are trying to come up with a solution, but we're not getting any feedback, and now the parents are concerned because in a couple of weeks we need to start practicing somewhere, and it doesn't look like we have anywhere to go right now. So we're here basically to help, give suggestions, try to come up with a solution, ask for help from anybody who has any other solutions that we haven't thought of yet.
Why isn't Long available to you?
From what I've been told, they have no room to store the mats. They don't have a basement there, so they were storing the mats on the stage.
Okay.
But they need that space now for other equipment because of the full-day kindergarten.
Okay.
So I think they have physical therapy and occupational therapy equipment that needs to be stored up there.
Do you mind if I just add,
No,
for the
go ahead.
public's
Yeah.
awareness? They used to store the mats behind the curtains on the stage.
Right.
And the coaches, those mats are heavy. They're big. They're like 4 feet, really big and heavy. Now with full-day kindergarten and the other
Right.
items they need to facilitate, these people have been displaced. And it's sad to say the displacement was done without any pre-planning ahead of time. Like, they should have been notified 6 or 8 months ago, but I won't take up your time.
I mean, that's basically what we're here to figure out, is there has to be a solution. I mean, the girls have somewhere to go, and we've looked to outsource, but it's extremely expensive. I mean, we could never even come close to raising that amount of money to pay for a private gym or facility to use on a regular basis. So we're all here to say help, because it would literally disband the program.
I see you have a lot of concerned parents here. You're looking for help, and I understand that, but with all these people, are there any suggestions that have been bandied about that you want to tell us? That
They've reached out to numerous people and given lots of different ideas, but the problem is, I guess, no one is responding to any of those ideas.
I don't know who they talk to, but it's the first time I'm hearing about it, so why don't you let us know
Andrew,
what kind of...
would you
Do you
mind
want to
if...
just,
Would you mind if I take up a little bit of your
Yeah, go
time
ahead, go.
quickly? We've met, Pete and myself have met with Janine and 2 of the other commissioner coaches. Okay, the bottom line, to go to Washington School, it's $900 a week for the Spirit cheerleaders to raise to utilize the gym, because the janitors have to get paid. So they've been displaced from the public schools. I had asked Janine Costanza to give me some estimates. Outsourcing. Rams All Stars, $30,240 for the time that the girls need to practice. Cheer House was $25,200. Okay? Now, that's equal almost to what we'd be expending at Washington School. It's $25,200. The program runs from September to March. Okay? The recreation budget in total to divide between all the children that participate is only $82,000. These parents go out and the children go out. They fundraise. So, Pete, and please, you spoke with Ray Karate. We're trying to work something out where we can get you perhaps a school where the janitors are there full time. So we were trying to work out either Smith School, find out if they have. And then it came to our attention as Pete spoke with Ray. Ray is on vacation, and then who's the other gentleman, the head of...
The athletic director.
The athletic director. And unfortunately,
Last 2 weeks, it's just been people on vacation, and it's,
on vacation.
Okay.
And then I did speak with Jerry about subsidizing, but 82,000, we have more and more participation with programs growing. My suggestion is, I believe there's a fall gap here. We need better communication between the Board of Ed and between the Township Council, the parents, and Recreation Director. But that's not going to solve an immediate need. So, back to Andrew, and if you have anything further, you know, we have been working at it, it's just we're caught in this gap of time.
Stacy, just, the mayor has a number of numbers. That entails how many days a week and for what period of time?
Don't forget, we have 3 different teams.
Right.
So the girls, each team practices usually 2 to 3 days a week
Okay.
for several hours.
And they don't, because of time, or I should say space limitations, they can't practice together?
and
No.
space and mats and, you know, different age groups and, you know,
Right.
there's lots of things
You're
that,
doing one music and the other.
Right,
person's
exactly.
doing another music.
Yeah.
So,
Stacy, I don't want to
Joe,
interrupt.
just let me just, while I have a thought. How long is your season, or practice season, I should say?
we already started practicing in July, and we've been
Outside.
practicing outside, so that limits the practice
It's
right off
September
the
to
bat.
March.
Will you practice, you
They're
practice
practicing
from
like their
September?
routine and things that they can do without needing to use mats.
Okay.
And in September, we go inside, and that's when they start working on their stunts and, you know, tumbling and things that they need to do on the mats for
And when does
safety
it end?
reasons.
Like
March.
May?
March.
So it's a 6-month,
Yeah,
Joe, I'm sorry.
more
It's all right.
than that.
Stacy, I was just curious, I mean, maybe a temporary fix, and I might be reaching for things. Did anyone reach out, maybe to St. Philip's, they have a gym? I mean,
It's
maybe
run by that Brooklyn
Can
Brownstone
anyone reach out to
School
them
now.
or-
We
I
have,
mean, just as a temporary fix. to
Joe,
get a place to
we've
go.
exhausted the resources. I even spoke with Janine and the other commissioners as far as like VFW. What do we have around? Lodi Boys Club. You go to other towns for a shared service, and their
Because they need it now.
utilization,
From what I'm getting, you need it right now.
absolutely.
In the next couple of weeks.
So if we'll put our heads together, I'm hoping, and then I hope the moms and the commissioners go down and discuss this with the Board of Ed. I was told now, and again, I'm taking up your time. Do you want to finish?
No, that's what
You
I
have 10
really
minutes.
wanted to say,
Thank you.
and
Anyway, in talking to one of the other commissioner coaches, she had stated to me that Washington School, their janitors leave at 4:30. All the other public schools, the janitors are around the clock, at least one of them. They have to be there in case of heating, whatever emergency is necessary. Now, we know that Washington School has been utilized for the Rainbow Children's special needs. Well, if anything, it might be wise if the Board of Education could consider one full-time around-the-clock, which will serve 2 purposes. One is of importance for the safety of the building, and 2, if that were the case, the Spirit cheerleaders wouldn't have to pay overtime money, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe you needed to utilize the gym either 6 to 9 or 6 to 10.
we could work the
The 5
time out,
days
but
a
it's
week.
it's definitely in the evening.
But
so,
yet, it can't be before 4:30.
Right.
Because the children are in school.
right,
So
and they need a
here-
good 2 hours. You know, it's not like they can go from
Here is our
3:30 to
positioning.
4:30.
Pete and I have gone. We're still waiting. I've spoken to the commissioner. It's the mats, the storage of the mats.
Right, I don't want to interrupt again, but I think I will. So the problem is, the mats at Long School, you can't keep
Yeah.
them on the stage anymore.
No.
Again, it may be a temporary solution. Could we get one of those little iPad pods or something dropped off in the parking lot behind?
I
The mats can't
suggested
be-
that. They're too
and
heavy.
roll them in and out of that?
First of all, they're extremely
They're too
heavy.
heavy.
I mean, the girls
that
literally, it
out.
takes an entire team of them to roll it up and get it on the stage, but they can't be stored outside. Like, they
Right.
have to be stored, like, at a certain temperature.
Okay.
Otherwise, they can be damaged. If they get wet, they'd be damaged.
And Janine knows because we did discuss that when we had the meeting here, because that was my
Very similar to
suggestion. You know, let's put one of those
I have a
iPods.
question, though, about Washington School, because all of the basketball programs and everything run in the evenings at Washington School. And there's a janitor there, I'm guessing, because there has to be. Does basketball pay for that?
Probably, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That was my question. Just
Thank you.
curious.
Stacy, we'll definitely look into this.
May-
Thank you.
Could we reach out to Fairlawn and see, they have that big rec center and...
We have.
We have?
I've done it. I've exhausted, Pete and I have exhausted Lodi, Fairlawn, Garfield, and
Right.
any other places require money. Now, besides the fact of the money, I mean, if these spirit cheerleaders, Janine broke it down for me, you know, $6 per girl times 3 practices a week is $18. 18 times 60 girls, 3 teams is 1,080. That's a week. 1,080 per week times 4 weeks is $4,320. So 7 months of the season came out to $30,240. And as I said, you know, it's unfortunate now in this day and age, the parents have to pay for registration, they have to pay for additional uniforms, whether it's practice, it's warm-up. I mean, it's bows, and I feel strongly we come here and the girls come in first place 9 times out of 10. And then we give them the certificates, but now we need help, heads together, cooperation with the board, with the facilities we do have. We have to come up with a solution, but it has to be soon, because we only have a few more weeks till September. Parents need to know the schedule. School is starting,
Well,
and they're a great group.
our next formal meeting is September 2nd, but I believe that we're going to have another meeting, maybe not Monday, but the Monday after.
The 18th, I thought Pete had said, of August.
Is that the 18th?
August 18th is our next
Right,
meeting.
So we'll try and brainstorm, and obviously,
At that,
at that one, and in between. I mean, Mr. Conti just whispered in my ear, he's a member of the Knights of Columbus, and perhaps he can contact them to see, no, that's no good? All right, give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot and see what I can do.
Andrew,
Let him say no again.
it's still open to the public. I think Janine would like to get up.
Sure, I know it's open. Anybody else?
Andrew, before she starts, can you talk into the microphone so we can hear you? You're about 4 feet away.
I'm about 18 inches, which is good enough.
My name is Janine.
Janine? you
My
gotta say
name
your
is Janine
and-
Costanzo. I'm the commissioner of Saddlebrook Cheerleaders, Saddlebrook Spirit Leader Cheerleaders Competition Team. And I just wanted to clarify a few things. The 2 gyms that I got a quote from are holding that space. I asked them, it's about 3 weeks, almost a month ago, that I've asked them for the gym space. They're a business, and they have to give up, you know, they want to fill up their time also. So they've been contacting me weekly, asking me what the status is of the gyms. They're not going to hold it indefinitely. Not that we want to go outside, because that's the $25,000 to $35,000 cost, but if we don't get to them soon, those options are off the table. So the outside gym, you know, people, the businesses book up their time now for September. I mean, they're already booked, really. So if the longer we wait, the less our options are. So I know everyone realizes what the issues are. The best scenario for all of us is to find an in-town location, hopefully a school where we don't have to pay. But, you know, we've tried everything. We've exhausted everywhere. We fundraise our butts off, but that is an enormous amount of money to fundraise on top of the monies that we already fundraise. We have 33 girls on our senior team alone this year, first time ever, 64 girls total. I have to purchase another 15 uniforms at $200 a pop. So our costs are just skyrocketing, and every year they get it more and more expensive. So to have this added expense on top of all of our other expenses is just a lot for a relatively small but very successful program to handle, and we really don't know where else to go. You know, we will talk to the Board of Ed too, but the Board of Ed tells us it's a rec problem because it's a rec program, and, you know, the township is saying it's a school, so therefore it's a Board of Ed program. but still, what do we do? Where do we go? Who do we ask?
Ginny, what's your budget?
I don't know. I don't really have a formal budget.
Pete, do you know?
No, if I may, there's $52,000 left in the rec budget. And to my knowledge, after speaking with Jerry Taylor, when Pete and I had the meeting, there are approximately 9 to 10 categories of recreation that have not been given their allocation of monies. And then I'd like to add also, even if we were to split, now we have 52,000, if you divided it by the 10 to round off numbers, that's 5,000 per. Whether they need the 5,000, that's where we're planning when the vacation times ends after August 10th to come up with the additional needs. Now, at this point in time, the only suggestion I can make, and I don't even know if it's acceptable, unacceptable, or doable, if you look at the 25,200 number that the Board of Ed would be charging the spirit leaders, and we split it in half for this year, if the allocation doesn't cut any other programs, you know, that, I don't know if it would be workable. That's about 12,005 Board of Ed, 12,005 Recreation. I mean, I'm just throwing this out as an immediate solution if the funds are available and if the board will cooperate and do the half.
Well, we have the liaison to the board here. We also have the board president here. So it's not going to take place tonight, I mean, obviously.
Exactly.
But we've got people, you've stated what you needed to state. We understand the situation, and I think we're all reasonable people, council, mayor, board president. And when people come back, I don't know, maybe we could even start this night. Well, it's a Thursday night, and town hall is closed tomorrow. So I believe maybe as early as Monday, we can try and put all our heads together and see if we can come to an amicable solution. Yes.
To give an update.
Janine has her.
Go ahead.
You got some more time if you want to respond.
I was just going to say, we usually start practice the first full week once school goes in session. So, I mean, we can utilize an outside gym to buy more time. You know, if I tell them now, I can kind of, but if I contract with them, then we're obligated to pay for it, and I'd hate to use that money if we came up with another situation. But, you know, the longer we don't practice, I know a lot of people don't understand this, but just like every other team, the more disadvantaged we're going to be. Plus, we have school closings and we have bad weather. If we have a winter like last year, we lost a lot of school time as it was. So, you know, we have to really start as soon as possible. But we're open for suggestions, whatever anybody would suggest.
Your contract with these outside places, cheer, whatever they're called, the gyms. I mean, my wife was obviously involved and did the same kind
Cheer
of thing.
House and Rams.
Cheer House. So, do you have to contract and obligate yourself for 6 months, or can you do it like on a per week basis for a certain period of time, or they won't allow you to do that?
No, they're very workable. That we've had a long-standing relationship with both gyms. So, and they know our situation.
And
So,
are they far away?
the Cheer House is in Garfield, Rams is in Hackensack. There are other gyms, but they're much further. And I don't.
They used to go to someplace in Totowa, or
We've never
Little
used.
Falls. Something.
Yeah, we've never went that far,
Not that
but
far, yeah.
you got to remember too, from December to February is primetime winter.
Yeah.
I really don't want my parents driving their little children
Out of
to a
town.
gym 3 times a week at night that far.
I know.
When
we
we-
did that, and it wasn't good. So
Yeah.
yes, the closer
God
you can stay at
forbid.
home, the better.
Right.
Council
Understood.
President, if I may.
You may.
Thank you. Janine, what size space are you talking? I'm just curious.
I'm not really good with square footage,
Okay.
but we really should be practicing on a competition regulation size of mats. Those are 8 cheerleading mats. The mats are roughly 45 to 48 inches long, and
It would be the
3
space
feet
of
wide,
long
maybe?
school.
They're-
They need the comparable space of a long, yes.
well, we would use a whole gym, but even the gym so far, we've only been able to utilize 5 mats. We haven't even been able to utilize the whole 8 mats. So we've been working, but with 33 girls, even the 5 mats aren't going to cut it this year. And then it becomes a safety issue. So we're really worried, and we need the height because they throw these girls up high, and the higher you go, the more competitive you are. So, you know, we
The
can't go
best-
in a room like this. It wouldn't
Janine,
work.
the best of gyms was the middle school, the new gym, correct?
The
'Cause you had
the
your
high
pep
school, middle
rallies
school
there.
would be awesome, but
See, we're trying to, when Ray Karate gets back and the other director, we were trying to see if we can switch out the activities, which I think was basketball, in the middle school gym, to see if they could go over to Smith. Then the next plan was to talk to the Boy Scouts to see if they could perhaps move over to the senior center. So we were trying, but unfortunately, we don't have these people in front of us.
well, I did ask Chris Iannello for whatever available gym time he has, and he gave me Tuesday, Thursday from 7 to 8. 1 hour, twice a week.
And that's no solution, absolutely.
Yeah,
Wrong answer.
For 3 teams.
Wrong answer.
Yeah, it's not going to really help. I mean, we'll take it. I told him we'll take it, but, you know.
We will take everything you said under consideration and try and work with the Board of Ed to get an acceptable solution to this problem, which is a problem.
Thank you very much.
And Rich, you're going to check?
Tomorrow.
And just as an additive, it's basketball, rec cheering, spirit, football, soccer, softball, and wrestling that have not submitted their needs to Jerry. So I have that list.
Yes.
But we'll pursue that, and he's on vacation right now, too.
Update, when this first came up, maybe about 2 weeks ago, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay, we did I contacted the Board of Ed. We've been talking, but unfortunately, and I see their point of view, we need a meeting of the rec director, our rec director, the athletic director, and try to coordinate programs, because the Board of Ed has the
Yeah,
same programs
it
we
is.
have, and that's the problem. They have wrestling, they have basketball,
Cheering.
as well as the town rec, and the programs have grown, and that's another problem. We still have the same facilities. We're going to work on it, but we're waiting for everybody to come back so we can have a meeting and see if we could give some time, as much time as possible, that could be allocated for cheerleading.
And I'm certainly glad everyone came out tonight, this evening, so this is all out in the open with everyone. So maybe if other people that are listening have ideas, or if somebody wants to volunteer facilities, like Strive or somebody, you know, maybe we'll get some kind of feedback, and then... Oh, I believe that, Janine. Thank you, though, ladies, really.
Great. Anybody else from the public wish to address the council? Hi.
Donna Bednarczyk, 430 Dewey Ave, Saddlebrook. I'm here in reference to Veterans Field.
Yes, ma'am.
Donna Bednarczyk.
No, I said yes.
I know, not ma'am, please.
Okay.
The residents in our area, all of Dewey Ave, Sampson, Steinway, and Hobson are very inconvenienced. Now we hear that there are going to be more activities going on in the field, and it's going to be a 7-day nonstop thing for the residents in this area. Don't think it's fair.
And may I
We
ask where
can't-
you heard that from?
Excuse me?
May I ask where you
Town.
heard that from?
People in
Just
town.
scuttlebutt around town?
Yes.
Okay.
We can't get out of our driveways. Our driveways are blocked. We hear the 50-50 raffles going off and the loudspeakers all night. We hear the blowhorns, we hear car doors, people turning around in driveways, almost hitting us. We can't walk down our own blocks.
May I
Why can't the high school be this complex for everyone? Everything is there already. The stands are there. The refreshment stands are there. There's bathrooms. Porta-johns are tacky. You're putting in a complex, spending all this money, and you're going to put porta-johns. The one porta-john that is there now is tipped over by kids that go back there and throw rocks. Yes, you can respond.
I don't know who told you this, but the only plan right now, we had a long discussion on Tuesday night, and we are going to have another meeting, and it's going to be advertised, but I believe it's not this coming Monday, but it's the following Monday. What day is that, 18th? 18th, in which we invite everyone to come, anyone listening that's or watching that's interested, and any member of the audience right now. The plan right now that would be on the table would be simply to change it from a grass field to a turf field. Whoever's using it now would continue to use it. There's no, we are not seeking other sports to utilize it. And in fact, right now it houses, I should say, softball, Babe Ruth, football, soccer, and lacrosse. I believe there's 5 different sports that utilize the field. I don't know of any other sports that could utilize the field, but certainly we're not seeking out outside people to come in. I don't know how often. I mean, I've passed the field. I've gone there. I've probably spent six hours over the weekend there just looking at it and going through it. And in those 6 hours, I don't think anyone was on the field. Maybe there was a Pee Wee team that was practicing for a half hour. So a lot of the time, the field is not being utilized. I understand that. The big usage is certainly on a Saturday night when they host home games, maybe on Sunday afternoons. Football really is the sport that draws people there, and that's probably when you're getting most of your parking issues. We discussed this. Now, we have certain time constraints because we have been given a $400,000 grant to do the turf field. We will lose it soon. One of the things I wanted to do was change the whole complex.
You never wanted the complex.
I know, I never did.
You never wanted it.
I never did.
And you said it at so many meetings, and now all of a sudden you're so gung-ho on it.
Okay. May I explain? Sure. We have it. It was spoken maybe 2005 or 2006 as the crown jewel of Saddlebrook. Well, the jewel's lost a lot of its luster. It needs to be renovated. There's no place else to go.
The high school is...
Well, the high school is the Board of Ed. Now think about that.
You could work with the Board of Ed. You could try and work with the Board of Ed.
But with the Board of Ed, listen, you've heard tonight that girls can't get gym space. So what you're saying is to work with the Board of Ed, and I'm sure we can. But A, there's no lights there. There are no lights there. And as far as I know, there's no plans for lights.
Do you know what it's like to live there with those lights? My house is not back of that. My brother-in-law's house is back there. He doesn't need lights in his house because of those lights on.
Ma'am, that's one of my concerns, or miss, I should say. One of my concerns back then was the effect on neighbors. But it's there. I can't change it. I'm not the one, or we're not the one, a couple people were, but I'm certainly not the one who purchased it. I'm not the one who designed it. I'm not the one who set it up with the limited parking. I'm not the one who put the house.
But we were never even notified about this.
Well,
the whole area there, it came in like a storm. We had no say. None of us had a say. We were totally bamboozled by this. We had no say on it. DPW was there for years. Guys came in, did their job, left. Now all of a sudden you got 1,000 cars. 1,000.
We don't want the same thing to happen. That's why we're having another meeting. This has been discussed at a number of meetings, and we'd like the input from the residents, such as you, to come here and tell us your concerns. The problem is that somebody, and it's the taxpayers, spent $6 or $7 million just to buy the property, or however much it cost to build the field, which is not in good shape. And if you ask anyone in the recreation...
I've been back there. I've walked it.
It's not very good. What we like to do, at least, is to make that track. Originally, it was supposed to have this walking track, and then all of a sudden they put up gates, and now no one could walk. There was a lot of promises that were made, and those promises weren't filled. We're trying to make it as best as we can. Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. It can't be perfect because it's not that big of a piece of property. But we've got 5 sports, town sports, not high school sports, but town sports that utilize that field off and on. And they're going to have the same complaints. I'm telling you, the same complaints that cheerleading is having. Softball is going to say, why can't I play on there because lacrosse is playing? And soccer is saying, hey, why would that football game? I want to play there all the time. It's going to be tough, but we're trying to make the best out of whatever we have. We didn't put it there, but it's ours. And, you know, I want to be proud of it. I want everyone in town, when they come to Saddlebrook, to say, you know, I went to Veterans Field, it's nice. We know that there's a parking issue, and that is, what I was getting to, was I thought we could try and do it at the same time, but maybe that's a phase 2, to try and give extra parking there, put in another
Where?
20 spaces.
Where? There's no place to put it.
If you remove the trailers,
which are a waste. You have one person working in a trailer.
if you remove the trailer or relocate that trailer, you will get all those spaces.
There are homes there. There are brand-new homes going up for $579,000. You think they want to have car lights in their houses? I mean, really?
Well,
think about the people who live there.
But I'd rather see it's a give and take. I think that the people would rather have car lights on a Saturday night sometimes, as opposed to people blocking their driveway.
They're going to do it anyway. Norristown opened up their gates to us. They had a makeshift sign out there parking, which was a joke. No one parked in there. No one parked in there. I had 12 cars in front of my house, and I had people backing in out of my driveway.
A lot of people park in the Dollar General. I know when it wasn't, when the A&P was down, that was perfect because you had an empty spot, and I guess it was a lot better for the residents. Like I said, I don't think that we can make it perfect, but we can try and make it better, and that's what we're trying to do. But in terms of 7 days a week, I don't see it getting any more play than it does now, which is a lot. But there's no people coming from other towns that are going to be utilizing this, or some phantom sports that are going to be coming in to start using this. I don't see that happening.
So another meeting is on the 18th. For what is this now?
We're going to come and we're going to talk about it. We're going to have the field turf guy here, going to have the engineer here, and anybody who has a concern about the field. Again, it's not being expanded. It's just, for the most part, right now the plan is whatever's grass, whatever you see that's grass and a lot of it is dirt, is going to be turf.
Okay, and a few months ago, there was a meeting up in Caldwell about stop signs and a study on Dewey Avenue as far as putting stop signs in certain spots. Did anything ever come of this?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You don't miss. I can't say ma'am. That's just the way I talk. I'm sorry. The mayor can probably address that, but thank you for your...
Yes, Donna?
Yes.
I had a mayor's neighborhood meeting with the residents of Dewey Avenue because on Erie Street, when the traffic light went up on Sampson, many of the travelers decided to cut through Dewey to miss the light on Erie because now there was an easily accessible, safe way to get onto Market from Sampson. And the police were there. I believe it was Captain McNally, and it was determined collectively to put the no left turn onto Dewey to defray the number of cars. At that time, and refresh my memory, I don't remember anything about stop signs.
I didn't go to the meeting.
Yeah, no, it was
but they said
basically...
Steinway and Dewey, there was going to be stop signs.
Why don't we just let other people have their opportunity, and we'll address that. I am asking you to stay, and we will address it.
Not ma'am.
Okay. Never again. Anyone else wish to address the council?
Jorge Tadacamando, 577 Avon Lane. Questions regarding veterans. You have $400,000 in grant money for veterans.
Yes, sir.
What is the total cost for the project completed? All 3 phases going to cost to complete it?
All 3 phases? I have no idea. The turfing of the field, with the contingencies, again, there's extras built in there, but I believe the number came out to about $1.8 million. We have 400, and that has to be matching. We have the 400,000 to match it, so we would anticipate a bond of approximately $1 million.
Okay,
that $1 million bond, just so you, would come out to about, on a $250,000 house, would come out to, of your tax bill, not additional taxes, but of the taxes that you pay, probably would come out to about $7 per year per household.
Okay, so that's just pretty much turf.
Well, the important thing that we have to, do you mind if I talk?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The important thing to recognize is this. When we did a cost study, the field is in horrible shape. Somebody, I don't know why they would say this, but says seed the field. Well, Robert, seeding the field isn't going to do anything.
I mean, it's constant maintenance. Basically, with the amount.
Well, let's, you know what, I'm sorry, because this is Todd's time, so just, the real alternative would be to keep sodding the field, which gets ripped up. We all know that sod gets ripped up. The problem with the field is it's not level, it's rutted, and it has horrible drainage. I mean, the drainage has to be done. Right now, it's irrigated. If we would just do the right thing, tear it up, level it, and put in new irrigation, because the old one's got to come out, put in the new irrigation, we would have a grass field, and I believe the cost for that would be $1.4 million altogether. So the difference to get a new turf field is approximately, I mean, the estimates would be around $400,000. The key is that the maintenance is not going to be there anymore. Certainly there will be maintenance, but right now to line a field, it takes a guy an entire day, one of our guys, an entire day to line the field for football. And when he's got to line it for soccer and lacrosse, it takes him a day to do all that stuff, plus the mowing and all that. That stuff won't be. And I saw in the paper today, I don't know the size of their field, but Washington Township did their cost estimate. They think it cost them $150,000 a year just to maintain that field. Again, I don't want to compare apples to oranges because I don't know how big that field is, but there is an expense to maintain it. There will be an expense for the turf. However, it's going to be much, much less. And again, on the 18th, Perry DiPiazza from Field Turf, who's the person whose company will most likely be doing the turf project if it is passed. I mean, it's not a done deal, but if it is passed, it probably would be Field Turf. And he would explain exactly what kind of maintenance is done.
Okay, so roughly 1.8 million just to get it to grade for turf.
Though that's including the turf.
No, I'm saying to grade with turf.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, it's also drainage.
No irrigation, it's drainage. Most of it, well, a lot of it is drainage and making it higher, so this way we can do it.
Good evening, everyone. Robert White, 595 Maple Avenue, Saddlebrook. For those of you who might not know, I'm a mayoral candidate in November. Tonight, I'm here to speak regarding Veterans Field. I'm just going to make comments. I'm not going to ask any questions.
Okay.
My feeling is, I've been sitting here at several meetings now. I just don't know what the rush is. It seems to me that it's a rush, that for some reason this has to go through, and I don't know why that is. But to me, if we're going to spend that kind of money, I think we have to consider every option that's available. And we have to be 100% sure that we're doing the right thing, because it is a lot of money, and we got to do the right thing by the taxpayers. My feeling is we're biting off a little bit more than we can chew, perhaps. And I don't think we've considered all the alternatives. That's just my opinion. I don't know, have we done all the research that we need to do? To me, it seems like Andrew mentioned about other towns. Have we checked with other towns that have done turf? I don't know what the answer is to that, but, you know, we could learn from their mistakes, because towns do make mistakes. Look at Glen Rock's a great example of that. They ended up having a whole lot of money in overages because their field wasn't level, and they had to bring in dirt to fill the areas that were not level, and it cost them a lot of extra money. And you know what? There are advantages and disadvantages to turf. I mean, I think we're hearing all the advantages. I think we have to understand what we're purchasing. To me, I know we keep hearing maintenance-free. That's what's going around. It's not maintenance-free. Turf needs to be vacuumed. It needs to be maintained as well. Also, I know that you can't, I've just learned this, you can't use the turf with extreme heat because it retains the heat. Also, there's been studies out that more injuries are caused by turf than by natural grass. The life expectancy as well. I think from what I've been hearing here, we're hearing 10 to 12 years when research says 7 to 8 years. So I think all that has to be considered. As far as the best location, I don't feel that it is a good location. Andrew, you said it yourself. It's a small field. It's an undersized field. I understand that the $400,000 is tied to that grant. I understand that. But really, you're getting 400, and we're talking about spending 1.5 million. That's a lot of money. And now we're hearing, that's just for the first phase, okay, which now we're hearing a couple of different phases. But the first phase we're hearing is just for the drainage, which definitely needs to be done because it's below grade. And then also, we're talking about, the turf itself. So, but the second phase, or third phase, or whatever that is, how much is that going to cost? I mean, if it's costing 1.9 to do the turf, the drainage, including the 400,000, so 1.5. I mean, second phase, I know the complaints have been, there's no bathrooms there. There's porta-johns. There's not enough parking. So all these things, if we're going to correct those things, that's going to cost a lot of money. So are we talking 3-4 million maybe? And you know what the bottom line is? We're stuck with an undersized field. That's the bottom line. It's surrounded by wetlands, and it's flood prone. Look, I mean, that area could flood if we have another Superstorm Sandy. That whole area could be underwater. I believe it was during Sandy. It was underwater, so the turf will be ruined. So these are all considerations. We heard tonight. Have we checked with the stakeholders? Have we checked with the people in the area? Apparently not. If the woman that was here speaking was correct, no one's checked with them in the area. What do they feel about it? Shouldn't they be considered? I think they should. What about other coaches? I mean, I know we've had meetings with the commissioners, but what about the other coaches? Sometimes the best ideas come from really unlikely sources. Somebody, it could be like in the police department. It could be the lowest patrolman. Sometimes they come up with a great idea. So you have to listen. You have to listen to them and take that input. We've heard this. Mr. Ratajczyk has mentioned it several times, and also the woman up here tonight mentioned it. What about the high school? What about collaborating with the Board of Ed? That could happen. I mean, look, I'm the president of the board. I know it can happen. I know that there's interest on that board to work with the town for a bigger, better facility. Maybe a sports complex at the high school. It's large enough. There's parking. There's existing facilities, a track already, rubberized track. I know we don't have lights, but that could be installed. It could be a beautiful complex there. And at previous council meetings, what I've heard is, well, it's too much money. I mean, I think I heard East Rutherford, they spent $5 million. Well, you know what, if we have all these phases and we're going to end up spending $3 or $4 million anyway, why don't we do it the right way? Now, I do know that it is underwater there. Sometimes it's the same as veterans. We have a flooding problem in this town. So that's something to consider too. So maybe that's not the right location. Maybe Smith, maybe we can find some other location. What about behind Russell Lane? We got that property there. I know it's landlocked, but maybe we could use that. Consider that. We're not using that for the senior housing that it's supposed to be used for, so why don't we consider maybe using it for a field? Look, I grew up in this town. Okay, I know what the deal is. We've been shortchanged when it comes to facilities for years. Okay, when I was a kid playing ball, our facilities need to be improved. Okay, overall we pale in comparison to the surrounding towns. We really do. I'd love to see a nice facility be built, but you know what? It's a bad economy right now. Let's face it, it is. It's still bad. People are hurting. People are hurting. And conventional wisdom will tell you, you don't do big projects, capital improvement projects, when in a bad economy. The people won't accept it. Look, what about a ballot question? Washington Township, isn't that what they're considering? A ballot question. Why not leave it up to the people to say, hey, do you want this or not? Let the residents decide. It's their tax dollars. Look, I understand you don't want to lose the grant. You could also take that 400, match it with 400, and just fix the drainage problem and do some other things. I know we talk about seed, that's not going to work, but it could improve it. It'll improve it a little bit, won't it? It should, especially the drainage problem. Look, and I'm speaking right now as a resident, not the Board of Education president. Look, we have one town here, one town. All the taxpayers' dollars pay for town expenses and Board of Ed, the school district expenses. We should be united, not divided. And I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but you know what? These cheerleaders that came in here tonight, it should never happen. It's unacceptable that they had to come here tonight. Okay, I'm not blaming anyone, but apparently we're not communicating. We're not communicating because it shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't be here asking for gym space. They should, like the mayor said, why was it 6 months ago? You know, why didn't they know 6 months ago? The principal at Long School, he must have known that there was a problem there, but we're not communicating effectively. Both, you know, we're two separate entities, but we shouldn't be. We answer to a higher authority. That's the taxpayers, the people in this town. That's who we have to answer to. So we got to work together. Thank you.
Thanks.
Larry Tychek, 92 Claremont. That was a very good question and answer or statements that he did put on about a person that wants to take their time to do the job the right way, spending all that money. I think, Mr. Samaluka, you made a comment tonight about $7.50. That's what the bond would cost us for each household?
I checked, based on a $1.5 million bond.
Okay.
It was $10 per household.
Okay, and how
We
much
only expect a
how much are
$1
the cheerleaders looking for?
A $1 million bond would
What dollar
cost.
amount are the cheerleaders looking for? 30,000? What would that cost each taxpayer?
I'm not sure.
That's why you can't have a negative tax increase or a zero tax increase. We have to do the minimum of 2%. And if we did that, and we didn't hand out these unauthorized raises, the cheerleaders would have the pick of the litter. They could go anywhere they wanted. The money would be here. But due to foolish spending and overpaying of employees, township employees, this is why we have no money. And this is why the kids, I was a kid here. This is why we always came up short. You just take care of yourself first with your health benefits and everything else, and we have cheerleaders here begging for gym time and everything else. I've been saying for months now, you have to work with the Board of Ed. And Andrew, you said last month that the board did not reach out to you. I believe Ray Karate sent an email here, and I believe Marilyn Cello sent an email to the township that was never addressed. So at least they were trying to communicate with you, okay? Like, Andrew, I'm telling you, everybody's saying, you were against that field to begin with 8-9 years ago, okay? I'm 100% for a turf field, believe me. I would love to see the kids have that. I would love to see the girls have whatever they want. All the kids should have whatever they want. But it's not the place for it. It's not the place. We have a gym that we made a mistake on. We can't play a high school basketball game on a brand-new gym because it's not up to size. And we have acres and acres of land back there. That's where the complex belongs, back there. So you people and the people on the Board of Ed have to bury your pride and bury your egos and everything else and sit down, go into a room, and work things out. Also, Andrew, I believe there would be a lot more playing on that field because lacrosse would want to have night games. When you put out a beautiful field like that, soccer's going to want to use it on nights, everything. Believe me, that field's going to be used nonstop. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're going to turf, as Mr. Costa has stated. It could rain in the morning and you use the field. The field will be used. The mayor's worried about the parking at the Korean church. How about the people by Veterans Field? Give them the same courtesy as you're giving and work hard for them like you're working hard for the church people. You don't want the church people parking there, and these people don't want the sporting events or whatever. We don't have the parking there. It's a little facility. It's not meant to be the jewel of the town or the gem of the town. It's a backup field. Our field belongs at the high school. There could be games played there at night. Put lights into the high school. Andrew, take the $400,000 into $400,000, put the bathrooms in, do the drainage. You're not going to lose the money. But if you put $1 million in as the town, as you're willing to now, and the Board of Ed put $1 million in, you can make a beautiful complex over at the high school. All you have to do is sit down and work it out. I mean, it would be beautiful. It's 3/4 of the way done. Every place flooded. You could put a baseball field there with a lot of room where we don't have to worry about the fences all coming in and stuff like that. But I mean, that's for you people to make it work. All of our money goes into one envelope. You people distribute it. Certain amount goes to the Board of Ed, certain amount goes to rec, Rec is shortchanged all the time. And like I say, once again, that's why there should not be, with the 2% cap that we have, there should be always a 2% increase in taxes. This way we can just run the town. We're just about getting by now. We don't have the money to pay a janitor so these girls can cheerlead. I mean, that's sad. Our court is in Lodi. Our cheerleaders, you want them to go to Fair Lawn? I mean, what are we doing? Just leave Saddlebrook. I mean, they are paying their taxes to Saddlebrook. You people are mismanaging the money. Last week, or last month it was, the auditor, he's still not here, when you gave him time, Andrew. That auditor does not get any time. He's a professional. He doesn't get to make comments like a councilman or anything like that. He's not an elected official. So you have to keep them under control. If he doesn't like what's said, talk to me after the meeting. But that's why he has a job here and he's getting paid, not to talk to residents like that. There was a couple budget questions that were asked. One of them was, what happened to the $100,000 that was not used in 2013? Where is that money, or where was that money used?
In what line item? Which department?
I think he said it was 15A or whatever. He said there was just $100,000 in money that wasn't used. We also, in the budget, you can get back to the answers later, we also, for the uncollected taxes, we went from $750 to $650. This is why we don't have any money. This is why our kids don't have any money. We're underfunding everything, and who gets hurt in the end? The children do. Okay? That's who takes it on the brunt, because we can't afford to pay a janitor. We can't afford to have a bus. We can't afford to do this. It's wrong, and we're sending the wrong message. The message was sent. I'm 57 years old. I lived the same things these kids are living. Not enough equipment. Didn't have this. Didn't have that. Never had a nice field. But we always got by. And I mean, that's 50 years ago. Let's give these kids something. But they don't have to come out and fundraise. It's bad enough they got to fundraise. Now they got to come here and beg. Besides that, raise the taxes. Like I say, nobody wants to do it. I know it's an election year, Mayor, and you want to put that message out there. But look at the message you have out there now. At your 1%, minus 1% or 0% increase, this is why they can't cheer. And like I said, it wouldn't be $7.50 a household. It'd probably be about $1.50 a household. And me as a taxpayer, I wouldn't mind paying that. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else wish to address the council?
Right here. Last but not least. Right here. Beautiful for the audience. I'm going to hold it right there. Good evening. Omar Rodriguez, 275 Madison Avenue.
Let's give him our attention, please.
Former council president 4 times. I'm here, a lot of different things. First and foremost, I serve with some of you right there, or right now at the dais. And I just want to clarify the position of Mr. Similuk in the past. Mr. Similuk was not that he was against the field itself or against the sports. Basically, what he was trying to do at the time, along with the mayor, was to build 950 units where Veterans Field is sitting now. That's what Council, yes. I'm going to tell you why. Because when you were mayor, it was a Mount Laurel, and you didn't secure a place for Mount Laurel. So a speculator, knowing the law, basically sued us on the Mount Laurel, and they were trying to build 950 units. Most of those units were going to be built at Veterans Field. At that time, I was on the council, and we went to court. As soon as we get elected, we went to court to appeal that. And we pay premium price, not to build more than 950 units in Saddlebrook. That's what that field is costing that much, not because we pay market price. At that time, they were paying $20,000 a month on rent for DPW, but nowadays, it comes to discussion about the expenditure that we are ready to make. The economy is not good. One of the worst times in the U.S. economy, but I guess the Saddlebrook is booming.
Can I just stop you? Larry,
Yes.
Larry.
Can you just hold the time, right?
Can you close the door?
Stop the time.
Yeah, we're having trouble hearing, and I think the people in the audience are having trouble hearing. I'm sorry, Mr. Rodriguez.
That's all right. I was here before the adoption of the budget. I made a lot of questions. None of them were answered, not even by the auditor. It's up to today that I haven't heard anything. There is a lot of questions that were just approved. Without answering those questions, everything was approved on the budget, which made me believe that a lot of you still don't understand the budget and what's going on. And this is, let's call it by a name. This is a gimmick. It's an election year, saying a zero tax increase when it's not proper, it's not true, and I can prove it with any of you, even with the auditor, that the books are being cooked just like that. And don't raise your eyebrows like that, Mr. Semiluka, because you're the first one that don't know why you've been approving, and I ask you questions and you didn't have answers. But then, since it's my time now, I just want to move real quick, tiny flies. But right now, I just want to tell you that how could it be that for so many years, we've been coming here for police officers, and they told us that there is no money in the budget. But then indeed, there's money to give a $12,000 pay raise in 1 year to the son of the councilman. Another $15,000. Then I Oprah for another particular employee at DPW. I was told no pay raises, no more. There is none on that particular individual. From $49,000, it went up to $79,000. The council controls the budget. So now, my question is this. If it's no money for sports, there is no money for police officers, how come you find money to increase or to give pay raises to some employees? This is the only town, I guess, that we're so rich, because some of them work 32 and a half hours a week. Nowadays, you got to work a lot more than that, and the average in town, what they making on average, not everybody, but on average, they making at least $45 or $50 an hour. You take the pension, the benefits, and everything. God bless America, and God bless especially Southbrook, because we're doing so good. But at the end of the day, the taxpayers will have to end up paying. When I was sitting at the council and we purchased the property, and some of you that were sitting there, you know that I proposed turf. I proposed to install turf, but I didn't have the support because of all these technical conditions. But it seems like now everything changed, even though that is below grade. My guess is this is a gimmick, election year, trying to get some of the sport people to vote for me. On the other hand, some other sports don't even have money. And I can even not just mention cheerleading, but other sports that don't have enough money in their budgets to do what is proper. So now, do you remember about that thermometer outside for the recreation building? It was just coming out all the times, all of a sudden, when it was election year. So now, what is the rush? To invest millions of dollars with a change of orders, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, at the end of the day, it's going to cost $7.5 million. I wonder, what is the debt ratio right now? If none of you are able to tell me, I'm pretty sure none of you know, how much is going to increase that debt ratio to the town compared to all the assessment in town, the assessments right now in town? I don't see the auditor. You guys, none of you speak without the auditor because you don't know. So, and I'm going to take a blatant because that day I asked so many questions and no one answered none of my questions. And those were technical questions, those were basic questions, and it seems that you guys just don't understand but just approve it. And that is wrong because at the end of the day, we the taxpayers will end up paying. We have to spend the money wisely and not just to do favors to certain people. The people that are going to be benefit are the taxpayers, the children, the seniors, and especially now in this economy, we got to be more careful on how we spend every single dollar. Because you might say it that we're going to bond it, and you can say $7, which is not true because it's not going to come out like that. At the end of the day, what is going to cost? $20 to each homeowner? What about the Borough of Ed? What about the county? What about open space? Everything adds up. But if you see how many foreclosures are in Southbrook right now, why? Why is the merit that some employees just get 2%? Other people can get $30,000, $20,000, $15,000, $12,000 pay increase? Why? That is wrong. That needs to be stopped. In other towns, they trying to lower the prices. And you, Mr. Semiluka, when we were paying $70 an hour to the attorneys, You propose to increase $110 an hour. Now I got news for you. Most of the towns are giving a flat rate. And just look nearby towns the same way that you're looking for this, and they just paying a flat rate of $50,000 a year for everything. Every single, that's the department head, with a $50,000 will cover the whole year. But in this town, we double the salary, so we are making able to, that they make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. That is wrong. There is a stop. They need to put a stop. I thank you, by the way, for you naming me without mentioning my name about the deputy chief of police position that has been eliminated, that it took me like 2.5 years to bring it to this board. But it's a lot of other things that need to be done, and it's wrong your answer when you say the people need to come to the budget meetings to express themselves. That's not our job. You got elected. You getting paid for that. Just to remind you, your health benefits are costing tens of thousands of dollars to each taxpayer. For the part-time job that you do, I don't think that you're worth it. That should be eliminated. They should not be paying for elected officials health care. That was another lie, that they were not going to take it, and they're taking it. And then again, another lie after another lie. When is it going to stop? On closing, I just want to say, if you rush, you're going to make the wrong decision again. Let's just take one example. Caldwell Avenue. We purchased the property, gave it to the county. We're not taking taxes. We're not doing nothing. The county's taking advantage of that. Why not to give to the children? Why not to make a facility for the children? Let's use it. Let's utilize. So we invest money to throw it in the air. Shame on you guys. Have a good night. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else wish to address the council? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting to the public. Mr. Conti?
Second.
Second by Mr. Camilleri. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the meeting is now closed to the public, which does not mean that we are finished doing our business. It just means that no one